Today on another episode of Living Akamai, Kei Mukaigawa has invited a special guest for added insight. Both join us from the Living 808 Lounge. Hey, Kei.
Hi, thank you. Today we have Michelle Ogata with Estate Planning Partners, and I'm so happy that she's here to talk a little bit more about estate planning. So what is estate planning? Why do people put it off?
Thank you, Kay. So estate planning is this process that clients go through where they create legal documents. And it's really there to make sure that if they become incapacitated or after they're gone, the transition for their family is smooth, and it's there to make sure that their assets go to the right people. Without any of these documents in place, it's very likely that their loved ones will go through one or more court proceedings if during incapacity or after they're gone. And without a will or a trust in place, the state of Hawaii will decide who's going to get their hard-earned assets when they're gone. So really, estate planning is a process where we recommend people work with an attorney who practices in the area of trusts and estates. It involves meeting with an attorney, going through their situation, their goals, their concerns, their family, their assets, and together they create a plan and these legal documents to make sure that their goals can be carried out or achieved, their concerns are addressed, the transition again for their family will be smooth, avoid court proceedings after they're gone, and then making sure that the assets can go to their loved ones in a way that can preserve family harmony as much as possible.
Gives you that peace of mind.
It
right?
does.
Yeah.
It does.
So why do people put off estate planning?
I think it's one of those things that's easy for people to put off because it's on your to-do list oftentimes, but unless there's a serious health or medical condition, I think for most of us, we don't think we're going to go anytime soon. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, as you know, I think we all know someone who's left us before their time. Mm-hmm. And it is one of those very sad and unfortunate situations that we do want to plan for. So as far as why people put it off, because it's easy, like I said, I think life happens and it's one of those items that gets put on the side because there are so many things going on in people's lives. So that's one of the reasons why we see people put off estate planning. Another reason we see people put it on the side is because with a lot of these documents that we're doing, there are important decisions that they're making, whether it's who's going to take care of the kids after they're gone, who's going to manage the assets, who do they want to leave things to. And in a lot of situations, these answers don't come easily for people.
They're heavy questions, right?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. And they're tough decisions to make sometimes. And so they try to make these decisions, and whether it's that they don't have enough options or suggestions, what we see folks do is just put it on the side, not make these decisions because they are tough decisions to make. But what we usually recommend to people is you make the decisions, the best decisions that you can based on the situation that you are in right now. And of course, as time goes on, you can always update these documents and you can always change them to, based on changes in your situation. Correct, yeah. Exactly.
So how can we make it easier for our loved ones after we're gone?
One tip that I would give to people is be organized at home. When people pass away, our starting point is to figure out were there any legal documents completed and also what kind of assets does this person own. And we've had situations where the family is going through boxes and boxes or just stacks of mail that is just sitting there and not in an organized way. So what we recommend to people is to make it easy for your loved ones after you're gone, not just get your legal documents completed, but be organized at home. Put your statements in files in an organized manner so that should something happen, it's very easy for the family to figure out what you owned, who they need to contact, and whether their documents are done.
I remember my mom telling me, okay, if something happens to me, look here, that kind of stuff, right? And then it makes her feel better because she knows that we won't have to scrabble.
It does, exactly.
Yeah.
And we tell clients all the time, too, you don't need to give copies of everything to these people who you've named to take care of things for you, but at least let them know where they can find it.
Right. So if somebody has their estate planning documents done, how often should they update it?
It's a really good question, Kay. There isn't really a bright line rule as far as you need to update your documents every so many years. What we recommend to clients is probably about every 5 years or so, just have the documents reviewed, just to make sure that the people they've named are still people they want there, their assets are still going to the right people. There are changes in the law that occur, and specifically with the estate tax exemption, that's something that changes every year. That amount changes every year. It has been going up every year for about the last decade. And so for most folks, because the exemptions keep going up, it doesn't require updates to their estate planning documents. But right now, it's scheduled to decrease by about half in 2026. So it's one of those things where in 2026, when the estate tax exemption does go down, it might be a good idea for people to have their documents reviewed. But in general, we just recommend about every 5 years or so, just have it reviewed with an estate planning attorney, and just to make sure that it still says what they want it to say.
Again, all of this is peace of mind. Talking to somebody that knows what they're doing can really bring you that. So thank you to Michelle Ogata with Estate Planning Partners. We're so happy she was here to join us today.
Thank you so much, Kay and Michelle, for stopping by in our Living 808 Lounge.